Good morning, everybody. We have taken up numericals in the last class related to influence line diagrams when the beam is subjected to single point load or when the beam is subjected to 2 point loads with a definite distance y in between them. Right? We have seen numericals related to this today, and the standard case for this that is it looks like a derivation. But if I give you like this is RA and RB, and here you will have a weight W which is equal to 1. So draw the influence line diagram for shear force at A, shear force at B, and maximum shear force, etc. We have already done for the standard cases also, right? So similarly, today we will take up for UDL, okay, load that is uniformly distributed load. We have to draw the influence from the influence line diagram. We have to get the reaction values and the other values like bending moment and maximum shear force, right? So I'll read out the question. I have people joining the meeting still. Okay, here. A UDL of intensity 50 kilonewton per meter and of length 7 meter is rolling over a simply supported girder. So first I'll draw the diagram then. There is a simply supported girder. The diagram is visible. Okay, something like this. There's a simply supported girder means simply supported beam over which there is a UDL of 50 kilonewton per meter, which is a UDL, okay, like this. So this is going to be 50 kilonewton per meter of length 7 meters. So the UDL is spanning only for 7 meters, right? Is rolling over a simply supported girder of span 20 meters. So this length, entire length of the simply supported beam is 20 meters. On that, there is this 50 kilonewton per meter UDL, which is rolling, right? We have to find the reaction at A and reaction at B. Okay, RA, RB. We need to find from the influence line diagram. It is understood. Okay, reaction at A and reaction at B when the head of UDL is at 7 meters from the left end. Meaning, if I'm calling this as the entire UDL, I will be placing this UDL at different places and getting, right? So I will explain how that comes. Then maximum reaction RA and maximum reaction RB. So reaction or max reaction RA and RB. So when is it possible? When will I get a maximum value for a reaction RA? When will I get a maximum reaction for RB? That is a question. And maximum positive and negative bending moment and shear force. So shear force means maximum positive and negative bending moment we have to find. This all has to be got from the influence line diagram only. Okay, so this is the figure. So first step, uh, understand the procedure also, understand the step also. After doing the numerical, we will do the standard case with W per meter like that. Okay, so first reaction at RA or reaction at A. So if I'm assuming a unit load which is going to keep rolling, what is the influence line diagram for it? It comes something like this. ILD for RA with a unit load, and we are aware of this, right? We have already done this kind of numerical wherein a simply supported beam with a point load, and we know that for RA, if I want to draw the ILD, it is going to be like this with the unit load, and at this junction it will be 1. This is your A and this is your B, okay, or you can call this A and B. This is your 1 unit value at RA or at A, and then I need to get the corresponding y ordinate over here first, right? And this distance is how much? This is the UDL distance we will take, that is 7 meter, and remaining would be 20 minus 7, that is going to be 13 meters. So first I need to find this ordinate value, which I'll call it as Z now. Okay, how do we get the ordinate value of Z? We have to use a similar triangle. 1 divided by 20 will be equal to Z divided by this distance. So 1 divided by 20 is going to be equal to Z divided by 13. Okay, from here, what is the value of the Z? 13 by 20. How much is this?
0.65.
So this is going to be 0.65 meters. So Z value we got 0.65, not meters, 0.65 only. It's just a number. Now, previous numerical comparison, when we found the ordinate and I wanted to find the reaction at a particular point, I used to multiply the ordinate with the total load. Correct? that procedure or that formula, that is ordinate into the given total load, is for point loads. Now we have the UDL. So what happens is, in UDL, if I want to calculate RA from this influence line diagram, it is going to be load. Okay, same thing, load. Into there it was ordinate. Here it will be area of the influence line diagram between the 2 points. Between which 2 points? Now this is A, and I'll call this C. Between A and C. Okay, so we will be multiplying the load that is given in UDL format only. That is, now in our present case, it is 50 kilonewton per meter. So load I will substitute as 50, right, into area of the influence line diagram between that 2 points. So A and C means I need to get this area. Now, who can tell me what is the area of the trapezoid formula before continuing this? You have a trapezoid like this, right? Say this is side A, this is side B. It has got a height h, right? A and B are parallel sides, and these are the unparalleled sides. So what is the formula for area? Can anyone guess, or anybody knows?
A plus B divided by 2 into H.
Yes, A plus B divided by 2 into h, where A and B are your parallel sides. Okay, h is the distance between them, and 2. So that equation I will be using over here, right? So area of the trapezoid. So load is how much? 50 into area of the trapezoid. I will write it as 1 plus 0.65, because these two are parallel, right? 1 plus 0.65 divided by 2 into h is distance between these parallel lines, that is 7 meters. So what is this value, please? 1.65 divided by 2 into 7 into 50.
288.75.
288.7 kilonewton. So reaction value at A, when the UDL is placed like this, okay, when the UDL is placed like this, and from the influence line diagram, is going to be 288.7. So similarly, let us do for reaction at B. So second case, when I do reaction at B, I have to find the reaction RB. So when I'm doing the reaction at B, I know the influence line diagram for unit load at IID of unit load, and when I'm finding for reaction at B, RB. So this is the type. So this is going to be 1, right? And now your distances are going to change. So what are the distances? Here, this is going to be 7. This is going to be 13, because this is, say, point C, right? So this is 7. This is remaining is distance 13. From here, first let us get the value of Z, right? 1 divided by 20 will be equal to Z divided by 7. Therefore, Z value is 7 by 20. How much is this?
0.35.
0.35.
0.35, right? So reverse distances, you please mark properly. I am still with the 7 meters only, because UDL in our case is 7 meters, right? So that is the same. So at 7 meters only, your C point is present, and I have to find at this point. So then I got the ordinate value 0.35. Therefore, RB is going to be load into the area between AC. Correct? So substitute for these two. Not AC, sorry. AC only. This only. I want distance between AC only. So load value is 50. Area between A and C is what? It is nothing but the triangle. So it is half base into height Z, you found out to be 0.35. What is this value?
61.25.
61.25 kilonewton. That is the value of reaction RB. Okay. And this is the value of reaction RA. Any doubts? Just quickly, whatever beam is given to us. First, I will draw for a unit load. I know how to draw the IID diagram when there is a unit load, right? At A, if I'm doing unit value at A, at A it will be unit, and at B it will be 0. You get this triangular IID value. From here, because our UDL is for 7 meters, you will mark the point C at 7 meters and get the ordinate of this. Okay, first from similar triangles. Once you get the ordinate for that, I want the reaction at A. And so to get the reaction, it is load into the area between AC, right? We get the value of RA. Now when we are finding the reaction at B, we have to again take first the ordinate, find the ordinate, and RB would be the load into the area between AC only. So that is half base into height, that is triangular, and you get the value of RB. So this is the first step to find the reaction at A and reaction at B when we have the UDL coming into picture. Okay, even you can cross check these values with your summation f of x and summation f of y. You should be getting the same values, and it will be same, right? Third one, we have to find the maximum reaction at RA or maximum reaction at A. How can I get the maximum reaction at A? Say you have a general question I want to ask you. There is a beam and there is a loading. Okay, when will I get the maximum reaction at A? Where should I place this loading? Towards B or towards A? If I place this UDL of some length L, say, towards A, I will have the maximum reaction at A. Or if I place it towards B, I will have maximum reaction at A.
Towards A.
Towards A. Simple, you take any numerical. When it is at the center, it is getting divided half and half, right? Now in the previous case, 7 meters, it was like this, right? So you found that RA was 288 and RB was 61 because this was towards A. Similarly, whenever I want maximum reaction, I have to place this load that is coming over this point, right? This is nothing but reaction. So the moment external load is more over here, the reaction also is going to be more, Newton's third law. So if I place the load over here, then this reaction value is going to be more, correct? Because that is trying to balance over there. So if I'm talking of maximum reaction at A, it will occur when the UDL is in the portion AC or nearer to A, correct? So maximum reaction at A can be obtained when the UDL is in portion AC or towards A, correct? So accordingly, I have to place the UDL now and get the value. So if I'm going to place the UDL now, it is going to look something like this. So this is your 50 and this is your 7 meters, remaining is 30 only, right? This is A and this is B. This is same as what we did previously, previous case, UDL, when I used the IID of a unit load. So what was the reaction RA we got? That was 288.75 kilonewton. This itself is a maximum reaction because it is already in touch with A. It is starting with A when I calculated this. Hence, this itself is the maximum reaction. You can call it RA max is 288. Okay. Now, when I'm talking of maximum reaction at B, say maximum reaction at point B, I want to calculate. So when I'm calculating for maximum reaction at B, where should I place the load, please? Who will tell? Where the load should be placed to get the maximum reaction at B? Towards A or towards B?
Towards B.
Towards B, something like this, in touch with B. So this is going to be your 50, this is 7 meters, and remaining would be your 13 meters, correct? So this is how I'm going to place the load to get the maximum reaction at RB. So accordingly, if I'm placing it like this, my IID diagram would be in this pattern, correct? Here. And this is your 1 and this is 0.65, just reverse case. This is 7, this is 13. Else also you want to calculate, you can always calculate. It is 1 divided by 20 will be equal to z divided by 13. So z would be 13 by 20, which is nothing but 0.65, right? So this is 0.65. I know the ordinate. So if I want to calculate RB now, right, because the loading has changed now, here I will take the area of the trapezoid. Previously, when I took area of the triangle. I took the area of the triangle because load was still towards the left side only. Now the load is towards the right side, right? So the load is towards the right. So RB will be given by load into area of ILD between what? Between C and B. So that is nothing but load is 50. Area of ILD is going to be 1 plus 0.65 divided by 2 into 7. It is nothing but again what? 288.75 only. By practice or by understanding, we know that if, because this is a regular beam and only one loading is there, so if I place the loading, if this is 288, the same way if I place the loading at the other junction, RB is going to be 288. I will understand that by looking at it only, right? But if I want to prove RB is 288, this is the procedure. We shifted the UDI towards the B. Okay, from the similar triangle, get the ordinate value and then calculate RB. Now, because the load has shifted, when I'm calculating RB, it is load into area of the trapezoid that is coming between these 2 points. Correct? So we get the maximum reaction at B, R max at point B is again 288 only. R max at A also will be 288, provided we shift the loading for A. When I want maximum reaction at A, I will place it towards A. When I want maximum reaction at B, I will place it towards B. Okay. So this is how we calculate for maximum reaction at different points. Any doubts over here? Next, third. Okay. Okay. So maximum reactions are done. Third point is the maximum positive shear force. Okay, now I have to calculate the maximum positive shear force and maximum negative shear force. Okay, maximum positive and maximum negative shear force. Now, leave everything. If you know for a point load acting here, how is the shear force diagram going to be in this pattern? Right? Why? Because I'll have a RA over here, I'll have a RB over here, which is load divided by 2 divided by 2. And when I start from the left side of the beam, this is going to go into positive, and RB by default is going to go into negative. So I know by practice for a simply supported beam, RA side or from A side, left side to right side, when I go, I have a positive shear force diagram. Correct? And when I'm coming from RB side, like this, that is right to left, I'm coming in this direction like this. This is what? This is negative. So I know that I'm going to get a negative shear force diagram. This concept is very important. You should know to balance this. Why it is positive, why it is negative. That answering should be present. So when I'm drawing the shear force diagram now for our UDL case, okay? So it is going to be like this. This is your beam, and at RA means here 1, here 0. At RB means here it is 1 and here it is 0. And at point C we are talking of, so it will be a combination of positive and negative. And I know the values also. This was 0.65 and the remaining would be automatically 0.35, because entire thing is going to be 1 always. Here it is 1, here it is 1, here it is addition of these two. But 0.65 will be treated into positive shear force and 0.35 will be treated into the negative shear force, right? So we know this particular diagram. So when I want to calculate the maximum negative shear force, say, I want to first calculate the maximum negative shear force. What is it going to be? The load into the area of the ILD between A and C. Okay, so it is going to be nothing but load into the area of ILD between AC. Okay, so substitute 5 into A to C. Negative is what? This area. What is this triangle? This is what? A triangle. I'll have half. Base is going to be how much? 7. Height is going to be 0.35. Substitute with the negative sign for 0.35 because it is going into negative. Okay, what is this value? This is not 5, this is 50, sorry. What is this value?
minus 61.25.
Minus 61.25 kilonewtons. This is the maximum negative shear force. How I got it? I know this is the generalized shear force diagram. At RA1, at RB1, and RB is always going into negative, RA is always going into positive. I know the ordinates at point C, that is 0.35 and 0.65. So when I'm trying to calculate the negative shear force value, so it is going to be between A and C. Why I picked A and C? Because your loading is from A and C. Say A, this is your B, and this is your C, right? So A and C is the loading where it is there. That's why I have to pick the area between A and C. Okay, and in this, when I'm calculating for negative, negative is the area of the triangle. So we substituted for area of triangle and we got the value of minus 61.25 kilonewton. Similarly, if I want to calculate maximum positive shear force, okay, so what is the maximum positive shear force going to be? Before going to, directly jumping into conclusion that this is going to be the maximum shear force positive, the positioning of the UDL could be anywhere to get the maximum shear force, right? So what we will do, we will position it like this now. This is A, this is point B, and our shear force, not shear force, our UDL is acting for 7 meters. So point C mentioned is here. This is 7 meters. And I will now tell you the question. The question says, remember I spoke of the head. Calculate the maximum reaction at A and B. Fine. Maximum positive and negative shear force at point C. Okay. At point C with the head of the shear force towards point C. The head of the shear force, head of the UDL or the load. The UDL's head is going to be this, tail is going to be this, right? So now with the head of UDL at point C means I have to place it like this now. Starting point of my UDL becomes this. And UDL itself is going to be at 7 meters. So 7 and 7, 14. 20 minus 14 remainder would be 6. If he has not given you this condition, in the same diagram, you will calculate the positive shear force. That is, you will take this area between A and C. That is, this becomes a trapezoid and you will calculate for this diagram. That is, load is 50 into area of this trapezoid. How you will write? 1 plus 0.65 divided by 2 into 7. That would be the maximum shear force for the same placement of the UDL. But the question says, find the maximum shear force value when the head of the UDL is at point C. And point C is at a distance 7 meters. Correct? And from there, the head of the UDL starts. The UDL is 50 kilonewton per meter now. So it is also going to be for 7 meters. So from here, 7 meters again. So total is 20. First A to C is 7. उसके बीच में 7 मीटर का UDL. So total becomes 14. 20 minus 14, remainder is 6. Okay. So this is important. That is, read the question properly where they have asked to place the force to calculate the maximum shear force. So once the placement is done, so based on this, if I am observing the influence line diagram now, your influence line diagram is like this. Correct? Previous what I drew, the same thing I'm doing. Don't worry. Right? So at 7 meters, and from here another 7 meters. I need this area now. At 7 meters, I know this is 0.65 and this was 0.35. We are aware of the values. I have to find this value now because I need to calculate the positive shear force. I don't want negative, so I'll not go this. I am calculating positive, so I need this value of Z. How do you calculate that value of Z? This is 7, this is 7, this is 6. So from the similar triangles, okay, or you can take this small similar triangle. 0.65 divided by this total distance. How much is this total distance? 13 is going to be equal to Z divided by 6. What is the value of Z? 6 into 0.65 divided by 13. How much is this, please?
0.3.
This is going to be 0.3. Okay. So now if I want to, and I am interested in only positive. So I calculated only this. If they had asked me that keeping the head of the UDL at point C, get the positive and negative, That time I will also calculate this ordinate because I am interested in this area. But now we are interested only in positive shear force, so I require only this area. And this value we found out now to be 0.3. This side it is 0.65. We are already aware of. So if I want to calculate the maximum shear force value, it is going to be the load into the area of the trapezoid between these 2 points. That is going to be half of 0.3 plus 0.65, the whole thing into 7. What is the total value, please? You do 0.65 plus 0.3, that is 0.95 divided by 2 into 7 into 50. Yes, how much? Who is calculating?
166.25.
125.
166.25. Correct. Okay. So this is going to be the maximum shear force when I place the head of the UDL at point C. Again, I'm emphasizing when I'm changing the positioning, that time this is the value. Else it would be area of this trapezoid. Okay. So this is about your shear force. Then next comes the bending moment. Okay. So we'll brief up again at the end of the problem, the procedure. So for fourth point, I'll have to calculate the, it's not visible, maximum bending moment. Okay. So when I'm calculating the maximum bending moment here, because there is a UDL, how I'll place it is like this. This is our beam, and here we have a point C. Okay. This point C is situated at 7 meters from point A. This is point B, and this remaining would be 13. Understood. Correct. Now I will place the UDL such that it looks like this. Okay. And this distance, I'll call it as X. I will place the UDL on the C, which is entering into AC. Okay. So there is UDL intrusion where in distance AC. I'll place it like this. I know that the total this length of UDL also is 7 meters. We do this so that we are able to use the regular formulas also, right? And A to C, when I mark this as A distance, and I mark this as B distance. The 7 and 13 are A and B. Okay, place it like this so that we will be able to apply the ratio in this pattern. X divided by L1 will be equal to A divided by L. Okay, L1 is nothing but your 7 meters. X divided by L1 will be A divided by L, meaning if I'm comparing this small UDL with a total length of 20 meters, UDL is how much? Say L1 meters. Okay, in that the point C is acting at a distance X. So, and I have this point C on the main beam here. So X divided by L1, that is a part of X in L1, is such that this distance divided by total span. This distance I call it as A. Okay, so X divided by L1 is equal to A divided by total span L. And we know all the values. We do not know the value X. So X divided by L1 would be 7 meters is equal to, what is A? A distance also is 7 meters and total L is 20 meters, right? Therefore, what is the value of X? 7 into 7 divided by 20. How much is this? 49 divided by 20. 2 point something.
2.45.
2.45 meters. Correct. So it should be placed such that X is 2.45 meters. Okay. So now if I draw this beam, this total is 20. Correct. And then there is this point C, which is at 7 meters from this distance. We are aware of that. On that, I will place the UDL such that this distance is 2.45. You found, no? 2.45. And 7 minus 2.45 is how much? That would be this. 7 is this. 7 minus 2.45 is how much?
4.55.
4.55. Okay. So from point C, intrusion is 2.45, and from there it is 4.55. Total L1 is 7. And this is your A and B values. So we have to place the UDL in such pattern. For this UDL, we know to find, we know the IID diagram for bending moment. What is the IID diagram for bending moment? It is going to be like this for point C, where this point is nothing but AB by L, right? How much is that AB by L? When I say AB by L, I mean WAB by L, where W is equal to 1. So I don't substitute W. AB by L means 7 into 13 divided by 20. How much is this? Last class it was same value.
4.55.
This is 4.55. So this in the diagram is 4.55 now. And if I want to calculate the maximum bending moment, this I will project down. I'll project this down. And now I'm going to be interested in the area of this. Okay, you can break it into a triangle and a rectangle, or before that, first calculate. This is A and B. So you can, and this point is C. A, B, C is given. So I can name this as C, this as D you take, and this as E. Okay, and let us get the values of this YD and YE from the similar triangle. So how do we get the value of YD and YE? So if I extend this line also at the bottom, I know that this total is 7 meters. This total is 13 meters. In that, this distance is 2.45 and this distance is 4.55. Correct? So apply the similar triangle rule here. So if I'm applying the similar triangle rule, this is AB by L, that is 4.55. 4.55 divided by 7 will be equal to YD divided by 7 minus 2.5. Right? So 4.55, this divided by this distance, that is 7, is going to be equal to YD divided by, this is what? 7 minus 2.55. Get me the value of YD, please. YD is 2.89. Let us check or calculate YE. So for YE, it is this AB by L, that is 4.55 divided by this side. Total is 13, will be equal to YE, this divided by this distance, that 13 minus 4.55. How much is YE?
2.95.
2.95. Others are getting the same answer. YD is 89 and YE is 2.95. I think both will be same. Just check YD once again. Both the values will be same actually. What is 7 minus 2.55? 4.55. No, correct.
And 2.95.
This is
Y.
2.9.
YD also 2.95.
Both will be 2.95, right? Because I'll tell you why. This is a glitch, but we took the ratio here like that. We said this over this will be equal to, this x divided by L1 will be equal to a divided by L, meaning x and a will be same, have a ratio with your L1 and total L. So that means wherever I go ahead, if I'm taking points, when I place this in a ratio only again, I will get YD and YE as same value. So once you get the YD and YE value, now it becomes easy for us, right? So maximum bending moment, when I want to write, first the equation would be maximum bending moment is nothing but the load into the area, okay, of ILD diagram from above between points D and E. So that is nothing but it is area of a triangle and area of a rectangle, right? So I'll substitute for that. Load is 50, so keep 50 as it is, into area of ILD. May first we'll write for this triangle. Triangle is half, base is how much? 7. Height is how much? This height. Total, how do I get the height now? Tell me. Let's see. Total height is 4.55. In that YD is 2.95. So how much is remaining? It is 4.55 minus 2.95 height of the triangle plus area of the rectangle, that is YD into this or YE into this, 7 into 2.95. That is the total bending moment or maximum bending moment. What is this value? Please tell me. Is it visible or no? Seven into 2.95 plus half, base is 7, height is 4.55 minus 2.95. This is the height of the triangle, no? That into 50. What is the bending moment you're getting? One, 3, 1, 2.5. I've got. Check all of you whether you're getting same.
Yes, ma'am. 1312.5.
Yes. Okay. 1312.5 is the maximum bending moment that is we're getting after placing it in this manner, wherein the ratio of x divided by L1 will be equal to A divided by L. Okay. This is for maximum bending moment. Some questions they will ask for absolute bending moment, something called as absolute bending moment. Tell you what is that. It is a bit lengthy. That's why I took the numerical first, because directly if I do the standard case, you might not follow, is what I felt. So now let's calculate the absolute bending moment, absolute maximum bending moment rather. Okay, for absolute maximum bending moment means I have a beam over here which is 20 meters. Okay, I will place the point C. In the question, C is given as 7 meters, but I'll place the point C itself at half of the span. So 20 divided by 2 is 10 and 10. So I'll place the point C at this junction. And our UDL is 7 meters. So I'll place it in such manner that this total is 7 and half is 3.5 and 3.5. This is to get the absolute maximum bending moment, meaning I will place the point C also and the given loading also exactly at the center point. Clear? So bending moment diagram ILD for unit load is going to be like this. Correct? We are aware of this. Okay. And I have to calculate the ordinates at these two other points. So if I call this as A, B, C, this becomes D and this becomes E. Okay. Now from here, we will use that x divided by L1 is equal to A divided by L. So if I'm using that formula, right? So what is our ratio? X divided by L1, L1 is 7. X divided by L1 will be equal to A divided by L. Ratios are going to be same, exactly 0.5, 0.5. Okay, so this is a check that I'm placing it exactly at the center. Now, from this diagram, let us calculate the YE and YD values. And they're going to be same because it is symmetrical also. So any one I can calculate. So what we do, this is 0. This value is going to be what? WAB by L. So whose is 1 A is 10, B is also 10, divided by L. L is how much? 20. So what is this value? 100 by 20. So it is going to be 5 ratio WAB by L. Now this value is 5. If I want to calculate YD and YE, so this being 10 and I know this being 10 minus 3.5, 7.5, 6.5. Okay, so put the ratios. 5 divided by 10 will be equal to YD divided by this distance. That distance is how much? 10 minus 3.5. What is the value of YD, please? I first calculated this ordinate WAB by W is 1, A and B. A is 10, B also is 10. L is 20. I got this ordinate value as 5. Okay. Now I'll use this similar triangle. Okay. This is YD. So 5 divided by 10 will be equal to YD divided by this distance. This distance is what? 10 minus 3.5. So what is the value of YD here?
3.25.
Correct. And your YE also is going to be 3.25 because it is a symmetrical beam now. Because at the center I have placed, no? So it is symmetrical. So when I'm calculating the absolute maximum bending moment, it is going to be load into area that is coming over here. Area means this entire thing will come. Okay, that is load into area between DE. So load is 50. Okay, when I'm calculating area, first half base is 7, height is 5 minus 3.25. This height no, of the triangle plus area of the rectangle YD, that is 3.25 into this distance, that is 7. This is the area equation. Calculate and tell me the value.
One four four 3.75.
Correct. 1443.75 kilonewton meter. So this is the maximum bending moment, absolute bending moment. That is, I have placed exactly the loading at the center. This ends your numerical. Okay. So I don't know how many of you have followed. I'll just revise the procedure briefly. If you're not understanding, I request you to please either ping me personally so that we can ask others also and take up one basic class again for this particular subject unit. They have given you a a beam with UDL load, okay, for a certain distance of 7 meters, and this is the point C. So this is A and this is B. They wanted us to calculate the first reactions. So we know IID for reaction at A, IID for reaction at B. For point C, matlab at distance 7 meters, C is at 7 meters and C here is at 7 meters. So we calculate RA and RB values by taking the area between AC. So RA would be area of a trapezoid, RB would be area of a triangle. So half, base is 7, height. We calculate this ordinate because this is 1 is known, this is 7 and this is 20. It will be easy for us to calculate this ordinate. Based on that, we calculate the RA and RB first. Okay, that is how we calculate RA and RB. Then we are calculating the shear force. So we have to place the UDL to get the maximum shear force and maximum positive shear force and maximum negative shear force, right? So to place that, what we will do, we will place it in such a way, we know that if this is 1 and this is 1, this is your general shear force diagram. So I have to place it at a point C. There is a question where maximum shear force is from this junction. So if I place it here, means I will take this area into consideration. He has said that place the UDL, head of UDL from point C. So somewhere from here at 7 meters, right? So that time I will take this diagram into consideration, calculate the ordinates and multiply it by the area into the given loading. You get the value for maximum shear force and maximum negative shear force. This is positive, this is negative because this area is negative. Okay, so we have calculated maximum positive and maximum negative shear force. Also, if this load is placed at the start, so what would be the shear force? So you will simply place it here and take the area into consideration of this much, right? Area you have to calculate that. After this, we went to bending moment, wherein bending moment diagram is going to be like this, whose this ordinate is given by WAB by L, W being 1, it is just going to be AB by L. So first case, when I'm considering regular, that is, it is placed in such a pattern. Okay, 7 meters, and this is A, this is C, and this is B. Okay, then we calculate the ordinates and get the, you consider, find the y ordinates and consider this area between and calculate the maximum bending moment. That is area of the triangle and area of a rectangle. You will multiply it by the given load. After that, we calculated maximum absolute, wherein we placed the loading exactly at the center. This is also center, and this is also the center for the entire beam. For this, we plotted the bending moment diagram with WAB by L, A and B being same now. Calculate this value and then calculate the ordinates YD and YE and take this into consideration. So absolute bending moment ke liye when we are calculating, loading into area of rectangle and area of triangle should be considered. Okay, so this is the procedure. All of you first put your USNs into the chat box immediately. Don't quit the meeting. Okay. Now, people who have not understood this concept, I want you to put in that group. We have created one more group now. You put it into that. We'll see when can I arrange for an extra class with the basics of this. Seriously, who have not understood and seriously who want to learn can put a message in the group that you have not understood. I will take one extra class to clear these concepts again. Okay. And all of you have joined that. I had told very seriously only ones who are interested will join it. But I will be starting to give some work from today onwards. If you are willing to do and if you can do, then only please stay in that WhatsApp group. Okay. So I think all of you have given your attendance. We will meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I will be taking one more numerical with a UDL loading. And then we will do the standard case where you have the beam of L length and a UDL given for length Z. And we will derive for that based on the same principles. Is it clear? Any doubts here till here? Any doubts anybody's got?